And tonight it all kind of came to a head, and you know, we got into it. And I have always struggled. Had a short temper. You know, and used to, I'd say, you know, that's something that runs in my family. I was born with it. I can't do nothing about it. That's all bull. I'm responsible for my actions and what I do and my reactions. Hey guys, Cody here at Bar 7 Ranch. It's about 9 o'clock on a Monday night. Just got through eating supper and got back from dance practice, and unfortunately I realized that I had promised a friend of mine I'd make her some leather earrings, and I got to deliver them on Wednesday, so I got to get in here in the old leather shop and get started on it. So y'all come along with me. We'll make a set of earrings, or at least get them started. We can't do it all in one night, but we'll get started on it and show you how we do it. Now keep in mind, I'm not a professional leather worker, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. First thing you got to do anytime you get in this thing, you got to kind of straighten up, clean up. Okay, so I got me some coffee here. This is some Canela de Tejas, Cinnamon, Texas. Bar 7 brand there. If you're a coffee drinker, you might check that out. www.bar7merch.com and pick you up some coffee. We got 3 different flavors. We've got a Rise with the Rooster, which is just straight black coffee, a medium roast kind of deal. We've got the Canela de Tejas, cinnamon flavored, and we also have a Texas pecan if you like pecans. So check that out if you like coffee. So if you've noticed Erica wearing earrings in any of our videos, she has some cow tag earrings that I made her a few years ago. And when we kind of first got started on this little social media deal, people were always commenting on them, how much they liked them or where'd she get them. And so I've made quite a few pairs of these and customized them with people's brands on them for their wives and girlfriends and sisters and mothers. Currently my leather shop is closed. I don't do a lot of take any custom orders right now. I've got too many things going on, too many irons in the fire, so to speak. So right now we got her closed. So I keep this little guy right in here. This is my ear tag pattern that I use for the earrings. So I'm going to get us a piece of leather. Sounds like the dogs heard some kind of pig or coyote or something running around outside. They took Lydia in after it. We got to find us a piece of leather to get started with. Here we go. Now we're cooking. So got me a piece here. This will I can get both my earrings in here, no problem. Little bit thicker, but that's fine. It's got a good smooth back, so it'll work good. All right. So we're going to lay this guy on here just about. I'm just going to line that right up at the bottom there. I've already beveled that one, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can see. Can we pick it up here? There's some little blemishes here and here, and like here and right here. So we're going to try to avoid those. I think we can stick that ear tag right up in there. I'm going to take this and use this as a square it up the back there. So get that. And then this is I think this is an 8B pencil. Nothing special. You can get them at any craft store pretty much, but we're going to trace around the ear tag there. Then we'll move over and do this other one. Hope that air conditioner ain't too loud for you folks. It's pretty warm in here, so I got to keep something going or I'll burn up. Now I'm not going to mark the hole for this because I'll have to punch it in just a slightly closer to the top, just because the little rings that we used to put it on there. So bam, there we go. 2 little cattle ear tags right there. And we'll go ahead. I'm probably going to go ahead and we're going to brand these actually. So I think I'll go ahead and brand them and then we'll cut them out. That way, while they're together like this, there's less chance of shrinkage of it actually pulling together when we've got it all on a big piece. I'm going to go ahead and tape the back too with some painter's tape. That'll help to keep it from drawing up. We'll put those brands on there real quick and get them looking good, and then we'll get them cut out. We'll probably go ahead and edge and slick. We might be able to do the whole thing tonight because there's not going to be a whole lot to it. We might have to dye it a little bit, but I think I'm just going to oil them and leave them a little more natural colored. But we'll decide that later on. Okay, so we got our ear tags drawn on there. Y'all see that? So I take just some old 3M blue painter's tape. This will adhere pretty good, but it comes off pretty easy also. So this is the way I like to do it. I'm going to put one down the kind of right over the middle and overlap the next one over that. And that gets us on there good. I always trim that off. I'm going to jump over here and trim it. This is my little trim knife. This is just a scalpel handle. If y'all can see that. This is blue giraffe bone handles that a knife maker friend of mine put on there for me just to give it a little more width so it's easier to hold. Uses number 11 razor blades, scalpel blades, not razor blades, but I'm going to just trim that thing down a little bit so that tape ain't hanging on to everything and making a mess for me. So interested, how many of y'all have done any kind of leather work? And is that something I hear a lot of people say that, you know, they made a belt or a wallet or something when they were in junior high or high school or something like that. So if you've done anything, let us know down there in the comments. Now, like I said earlier, guys, I am not an expert when it comes to leather work. I'm self-taught. I had a friend of mine in college when I went to college that was you know, kind of an amateur leather worker, and he showed me a few things, helped me build a wallet, helped me build a, you know, kind of got me started and gave me some direction on building a purse for my mom when I was in college. And I really just kind of fell in love with the trade, with doing that kind of stuff. So most of my stuff has just been making stuff for me and my family, friends and stuff like that. So so most of my knowledge for leatherworking has come from just that little, you know, small start there in college. And then I watch a lot of YouTube videos. There's a couple of guys that I really enjoy, like three really good sources that I think, there's more than that, but three that I've spent the most time watching are Don Gonzalez. You can find him on here. A guy named Mealing, Joe Mealing, M-E-L-I-N-G, I think it's not Mailing, I don't know, I'm probably saying that wrong. And Alden School of Leather. They've all got YouTube videos that you can check out on how to do stuff. So if you want to get into that, I would suggest looking those guys up. And as far as tools, I'll give you a little quick tool tour right here. Let's see if I can get this turned around. So a lot of my tools here are Barry King's. I really like those. You know, I've got a few craft tools things in there that come from like Tandy. This is from Maker's Leather Supply in Elmont, Texas. Nice little knife there. That's just kind of the stuff I use: edgers, awls, hole punches, things like that. These are just some templates. These templates come from Maker's Leather Supply. It's a really good spot to see if I can get that. Can y'all see that there? Not really. Anyways, check him out, Maker's Leather Supply. They're great people. I get all my leather from them. This is kind of this is where I do some studying from my Sunday school lessons. Warren Wiersbe, that's a good one. Good Bible commentary right there. The Wiersbe Bible commentary. It's really easy to understand. Check that out if you ever need some help with that, preparing for Sunday school. But yeah. Okay. Well, let's see what we can see, what we can get done.
Which one are you doing? I'm going to get out of here so you can talk.
All right, let's put it on there and see what happens. That didn't work right. Wasn't hot enough on that end down there. There we go. This is going to be the back side of the bee, the spine of the bee. We'll go ahead and burn both of them on there. All right. Now then, we'll use this little guy right here to make the B. Then we'll put the C over here and we'll call her good. I'm gonna wire brush that off just a little bit. I think I'm also gonna make just a little adjustment in this thing. Number one, it's been over too far. All right. This is probably a 4 to 5 ounce piece of leather here that we're using for these earrings here. If you get this thing too hot, it'll burn right through, so that looks pretty good there. We can attach that. We'll use a little straight iron right there to get that straightened up. We'll wire brush that just a little bit. Hitting it with this wire brush, it just knocks those little pieces of leather that are on there, little scab looking things off, and lets that iron heat back up a bit easier. That got off just a little, but it'll be alright. We'll heat this running iron back up as straight iron. I want to heat it just in the crook of it, that way I can run those straight on up there and get them right, looking right. So alright, let's take this little scraper here. Down in there a little bit. Hit it with this brush. It's got the B's in there pretty good. Now then, I think we're going to use this bigger C. I've got this smaller one here. I just don't think it's big enough though. Got another one in there. No, we'll just use this one that we started with. Pull that little one off of there and put this bigger one on. We'll give it a little brush. Put that guy about right there. I just bent these things around like a bolt or a screwdriver or something to get whatever shape I wanted. Pretty close, you know. We'll just work that around. That looks pretty good. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks good, don't it? Let's get the other one done. So, looks pretty good. Next step we're going to do, I think I'm going to go ahead and oil them. I might even dye them while they're on here. I think I'm going to, let's put a little coat of oil on it and see what that looks like. Grab us a little piece of cardboard, stick under there. Now we're going to oil these things. I like to just use olive oil, just some cheap olive oil from up at the grocery store, whatever you can find. I just use a piece of sheepskin right there, and then we're just going to coat it good, real good, like that. That's a thick coat. Probably a little bit too much, but you can't have too much really. Perfect. See how much darker that made it? I like that. We'll just leave it there like that. What I'll grab a paper towel real quick, guys. Hey guys, I'm back. This is a night, a day later, I guess is the way to say that. So, my camera died last night right before I got finished with everything, so recording for you guys. So I've got the earrings. I went ahead and got them finished cutting them out. Used just a razor knife and some different types of punches there. I punched little corners here and used the round punch up there. And I've still got my tape on the back. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. And what we're going to do now is we're going to bevel all of our edges and slick them off and dye them and slick them off. And then I've already oiled these really good. I think I caught that at the end of the video. And once we get them, the edges done, then we'll put probably put some tan coat on the top of them just to seal them in good. Then we'll punch our holes in the top and mount our hardware, and we'll call them good. So this is I'm gonna probably use this just I think I'll just use this old 0 right here, edger. We'll just take this edger and just knock those edges off. Edging is very important in leather work. I think it's maybe something some people miss and don't do a good job of getting their edges beveled and getting them slicked off good. That's to me, I think is one of the really important parts of leather working, is getting those edges beveled. I'm going to turn it over and do it on the back side also, and then we'll get them all slicked over. But there's something kind of soothing about edging leather too. I don't know what it is. Anytime I've brought kids in here that have never done leather work, if I help them with a fair project or anything like that, or maybe just a project that they want to work on, it's not long before they're just over here with little pieces of scrap leather just running the edger across it. So that's got them looking pretty good. Then we'll go ahead and peel this tape off the back. This is really hard when you can't see because the camera's in front of it, between you and the... There we go. Alright, now then, let's get the back sides of these done. The rough outside's usually a little bit harder to get done. I should probably sharpen this bevel also, but that should work. There we go. Okay, so we got that done. I'll set my stuff aside. The hardest thing for me is keeping my area about halfway cleaned off where it's workable and functionable. I do a terrible job at that. I always get stuff out and just leave it out. Then I have to spend half a day in here getting everything straightened up where I can actually work again. So, okay, so we got this about where we want it. I'm gonna put some of this stuff up while I'm talking to y'all. Now we got to slick our edges. That needs just a little bit of beveling work done right there to make it look right. Now, if there were, before I did this, if there were 2 pieces of leather on this, I know I would have took a little piece of sandpaper and sanded around those edges and got everything smoothed up and looking right. But since this is just 1 piece, it'll be all right like it is. And we got her looking pretty good, I think. I have a hard time when I do stuff like this for the public because I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I can see every little blemish in something that I make, and other makers can see those blemishes. The average, average Joe in public may or may not see them or not even notice them, but when you are somewhat of a perfectionist, it makes it hard to do stuff, because when you see those blemishes, you're like, man, I can't send that out. I can't let somebody pay for that. But part of being a maker is knowing that handmade things aren't going to be perfect. You're going to have mess ups. I mean, I've got a knife sheath going here that it's pretty thick, and when my sewing machine went to sewing, it kicked out here. So my first thought is to see how it kicked out of there, the stitching right there. My first thought was just to throw it in the trash and start over, but I can probably just cut these laces out and I can reuse the top part here. if I get this back off, then all I have to really do is remake the back, and I can just leave it bigger, glue it down on there, and then when I stitch it, it won't kick out like that. Then I can just cut it all off and make it look right. So that's probably what I'm going to do. And so sometimes if you have a mess up or something going on, something happens, instead of getting upset and just quitting, you know, or throwing it away, just set it aside for a day or two and then come back to it. So so let's get these edges dyed. I like to put a dark brown edge on it, makes it look good. I'm going to use one of these little ink, these dye pens right here. You just fill it up yourself with dye, and it's got a little sponge in there, so it kind of works like a paint pen. You just push down on it, get it loaded up, and then you can just run it around the edges here. So you want to be careful here because there's no going back with this. Once it's there, it's there. So I like to do this before I slick the edges because it'll burnish in there good. And the stuff that I'm going to use for my edge dressing will it doesn't really take real good after you've done that. So I'm going to do the front and the back, that way it's kind of got a little border even on the back side. So that's, see, it's got our edges done. It's got a little border around the front. When you look at it, kind of just sets it off. And even the back's got a little bit. It's going to run a little bit on the back because it's that rough out, but it's alright. That's that little bit of a perfectionist coming out like, well, that just looks like junk, let's throw it away. But it's alright. By the time we get it all smoothed over and slicked over, and we'll may put a little coat of oil on the back. I may use this edge dressing to smooth it down. That's probably what I'll do. It'll make it smooth down a little better. I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get around the corner here. Okay, so there's two different schools on using, or not two, there's lots of different ways to do edges. You know, some people use water and a little beeswax. What I normally use is this right here. I use a little bit of water and my saddle soap has gotten misplaced. So you can use saddle soap. You get the edges wet, rub that saddle soap on there, and then take your wood burnisher and burnish those edges and get them really slicked off and clean. On something like this, I tried this a while back and I really like it, this Techanola burnishing gum. It really works good, and especially on these back sides where it's rough out, you can put it on there and smooth it down. I'll use this glass burnisher to put on it and rub it and get it really, really smooth. So I'm going to use that today on these, and I just apply that with just my finger. You can use a dauber or something, but I just put a little bit of it in my finger, and then we'll just go around the edge and get it coated all the way around. Make sure it's on kind of the top edge and the bottom edge. So I want to talk to you guys about something. So you may or may not know that Eric and I are in a Dancing with the Stars Central Texas to raise money for a crisis center. So basically it's a place where someone that's in an abusive relationship can come to get away from their abuser and find the help they need to get into a better situation. So this is the first year of this fundraiser. They're wanting to buy a building and set it up so where they have rooms and things like that, so that if someone comes in, they don't have to, they can just put them up there with armed guards on the premises and provide that safe haven for people. So someone within the organization decided that, hey, why don't we do a Dancing with the Stars Central Texas, and we can get different couples to come in and dance. They have two different kinds of winners. They have, just like the real Dancing with the Stars, they have a people's choice where whichever couple raises the most money wins the People's Choice Award, and then the actual judging the night of the judges will decide who has the best dance skills. So there'll be two winners that way. So, with all that said, they not hired. We have a really nice lady that donated her time that's a dance instructor, to choreograph and teach us some dances that we don't know, like a East Coast swing and Eric and I knew how to waltz, but not ballroom waltz. So we're learning how to ballroom waltz. And tonight we had practice, but I am very strong-willed, and our instructor is very strong-willed, and we clash in that because neither one of us is willing to give most of the time, and that doesn't make for a good situation sometimes. And tonight it all kind of came to a head, and we got into it, and I have always struggled. I have had a short temper. And used to, I'd say, that's something that runs in my family. I was born with it. I can't do nothing about it. That's all bull. I'm responsible for my actions and what I do and my reactions. So with that being said, one of my, coping mechanisms, or one of the ways that I have figured out how to not say or do things that I don't want to do when I get mad or feel like I'm fixing to be aggravated, is to walk away, to stop and say, hey, I'm just going to remove myself from this situation, because if I don't know that I will be able to control what is about to come out of my mouth, or what I might do. Not like hitting somebody, used to hitting somebody, maybe fighting or something like that. Not women or anything, men. But so it got to that point tonight that I just said, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm walking away. And I hate that that's the only way that I can cope with that. But it gets me to thinking about how, a lot of times we might pray for God to give us, patience or understanding and things like that. And God won't just always give us that, but He will put us in the situation where it might be useful, where we can grow that gift, or that fruit of the Spirit. Not a gift of the Spirit, but that fruit of the Spirit. So right now I'm not developing that fruit. We had to leave, and I just, part of me is like, you know what? I ain't even going back to practice anymore. We're only 2 weeks away. We'll just do what we've got learned and wing the rest of it. But that's not the best thing to do. So, guys and gals, I just want y'all to understand that, or realize that, even people that you don't, you see people, creators or Christians, other Christians, or people in your church or around that are saved and stuff like that, and you may think, well, they're perfect. They're not. We all struggle each and every day to do the very best we can, and we rely on the Holy Spirit to guide us where we need Him, when we need Him, which is always. But it's awful hard sometimes to accept when the Holy Spirit's guiding you, and not just give into your flesh. So I'm struggling with that right now. We missed out on 30 minutes worth of practice. It was towards the end of our practice, and it's over something silly, just two strong-willed people butting heads about the way they think things need to go, and I can understand where she's coming from. That she's a dance instructor, has made her living being a dance instructor, and she wants this. This, I can see in her mind, just like when I do this leather work, that this is a reflection of who she is and what she can teach somebody, even though she's retired now. But from my standpoint, is I'm going to stand before a bunch of people that I've known my whole life and do some dances that have never done before. And I don't want to look like an idiot, but I don't mind making a fool of myself. If you watch our TikTok, I do it all the time, but I want to be the one in control of it. I don't want to do it because I'm not prepared or I don't know what's happening. or because I don't feel comfortable doing something. You know, if I want to. So, long story short is I got some patience building, some forgiveness building, some fruit growing to do the next couple of days so that I can get back to where it's fun to go up there and it's not, because guys, man, I can hold a grudge and I am very sharp tongued. If you haven't followed some of our other stuff, I mean, Eric and I jack around and mess around with each other a lot, just playing around. But people that don't know how to take me, or if I really want to just be mean, I can cut somebody to the bone, and that's I don't want to do that. I want to be better than that, you know. I want God to work through me and not fall into those temptations. So let's see here. I need a little piece of wool. Okay, so I got the front edge, the front and the edges of this done. So got it slicked off. See how shiny that is? I don't know if will that focus this close? I don't know. Probably not. Let's get back here. So I got it slicked over and smooth. It's going to look good. Kapow! Got this other one done here. I'm just using this rag. It's just a cotton piece of canvas. What this actually is, if you ever go down to your bank and ask them for a coin bag, like to put quarters in or something like that, just a canvas bag, that's what this is. It's nothing special. I get them, I cut off little pieces that I'm going to use, and use them till they're used up, throw them away and get another one. They'll just give them to you for free, or our bank will. I say that, our bank's changed three times in the last year, changed names, so I don't know if the new people will still take care of us like that or not. You know, our old bank did. But I opened my bank account, my checking account, in the 3rd grade. I got contacts and opened my checking account all on the same day. You might ask, well, why does a 3rd grader need a checking account? That don't make no sense, Cody. Well, as a 4-H'er, you can join 4-H in the 3rd grade here in Texas. I don't know how it is in other states, or when you turn 9 years old. So I joined 4-H, and it was something that my parents instilled in me, that, hey, you need to be fiscally responsible for your own projects. So money that I had in my savings account got transferred into a checking account so that I could buy feed and buy animals and just learn to keep a check register in your checkbook and all that kind of stuff, and balance your checking account at the end of each month, and reconcile it and do all that kind of stuff. So that's why I ended up with a checking account, and I've had that same checking account since I was 9 years old. So there's only about 3 numbers that I know off the top of my head. I know my social security number, my driver's license, and that checking account number. Now I have multiple checking accounts for businesses and stuff like that. But that's how that happened. All right, so now I just put a little coat of that on the back side. You see, I kind of darkened it a little. Then I'm going to take my glass burnisher. I'm just going to rub that back and forth across there. Sorry about that. Let's get that on here. And what that's going to do is it's going to lay those rough out fibers that are on the back side of this earring. It's going to lay them down and smooth them out. Also kind of just finish up with the kind of waterproofing, weatherproofing process on there. So I like to kind of rub it with this rag first and kind of get it all worked in there good, and then I'll hit it with that glass burnisher. We'll call it good. Now, if I was going to sew these, like I did with Erica's first couple of pairs, I used a thinner weight material on the front, leather on the front, and then I used a lighter leather as a backer. You could put your maker's mark on there. If I tried to stamp my maker's mark on the back here, it would probably show through on the front. I don't want it to do that. So this is more for those people than it is for me. So I'm just going to get it finished up here around those edges one last time, and then set that aside. Then we're going to punch us a hole in it and put our hardware on, and this little project will be done. Not a whole lot of time really invested in these. Pretty easy little project for beginners, or easily, I think if you made custom ear tags like this that you sold, you could sell them at Christmas time now. Probably 25 bucks. You're going to have maybe $3 or $4 in them, plus your time. Or, you know, like if you don't want a custom made set, you can pick up a set. We've got them for sale that have bar 7 on them, and they have some that say keep ranching. We've got them on plain leather like this, and also on some hair-on cowhide. So check that out at, you know, our website. There's a link down in the bottom, www.bar7merch.com. I think that's right. I'm sure Eric will let me know if it's wrong. But okay, now we're going to punch us a hole. I'm just going to roll it around to one that looks about right on my hole puncher here. Let's see. We probably ought to get our little rings and our earring things out of here and make sure we get to the right spot. So here's the way I do it. I take these little jump rings. I think I got these at like Hobby Lobby or something like that. I mean, just wherever you can find them. Get 2 of them that are the same size out. And then I think you can probably get these little earring studs. These are hoops or something. I don't know. Y'all know, you ladies know what they are. They break real easy because you're going to have to turn them to adjust them and get them to where they lay right. So I always get out more than I'm really going to need. And so looking at this thing, we just need to go, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch below the top. Punch our hole. And you want to punch one big enough that the ring can get through it good. You can measure it, or you can just eagle eye it and knock it out. That's what I'm going to do. Make sure you're trying to get it in the center there. Boom. We'll do this other one over here. Alright. Now then, I use a couple of pliers on these little jump rings. You just kind of want to bend them to the side just a little bit to open them up. Thread them through here. So when you close this ring, it's going to run straight up and down with my fat fingers out of the way, straight up and down. So you want them to wear to the front. So when you put this earring on, you know, you have to look at it and kind of get it lined up the way it's supposed to be. Come on now. That thing's all hung up in there now. Come on now. That thing's all hung up in there now. Come on out of there. Alright, so if that's going to go through this woman's ear sideways like this, kind of sideways, that's going to want to hang about like that. So we'll just close that baby up. They probably make a real pair of pliers for this, but that's what I got. So if I put that in, boom. Alright guys, so last night the GoPro overheated. I'm not sure why that happens. These guys can do all this stuff all the time with them and they don't seem like they overheat, but every time I use it, it does. But anyways, so here's the finished product. I don't know if is that where you want it? Yeah. So I'm going to deliver these this morning. I got to get my hair cut. The lady that cuts my hair, she ordered these, so I'm going to give them to her and then head out and drop these cattle off and then go order knife blanks and then get headed home. So thank y'all for watching. If you got any questions or comments, put them down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and check us out on our other social media platforms for some other funny, shorter stuff. Y'all keep ranching.